So I realized something a little while ago. I had to go inside for a moment. I didn't bring up my second change for the flying type, which would be something to the effect of only flying types can hit steel types. Actually, it's actually 2 additional changes, not 1 additional change. Wind and air based attacks. When in windy conditions, hit steel for neutral damage if done by a flying type. It'd be an on-specific boost, or you could have it just, hey, when flying types use those moves, period. I would say it has to be in windy conditions. My reasons for this are tornadoes and just really strong winds. Doesn't matter, you're in a car, it'll get moved. Unstoppable force gets enough power behind it. Doesn't matter if it's an immovable object, it's getting moved. I-beams can be lifted. I've seen sheet metal bend. I've seen metal get thrown around and get bent in. So, windy conditions, wind and air-based attacks done by flying types can hit steel types for neutral damage at least. You could maybe say super effective. I'd say neutral is fine. And then the other one is give flying types their own version or just outright corrosion. Or just have an ability called oxidization or oxidize that they have access to. And those would be, hey, in any conditions hit by a wind or air-based move on steel types, it's super effective because you're oxidizing it and the like. So that would be the trade-off of like, oh, hey, well, if you're a flying type with this oxidize ability, or again, just give it corrosion, I don't know, it would, and change corrosion to suit flying types, it would hit for super effective damage in windy conditions. It'd do a lot. Anyway, I realized I forgot that, so my bad. Going on to Ghost. Ghost is simple. Make Ghost beat fighting. It should. It always should have. I don't know why it doesn't. It should beat Ghost. It just should beat Ghost. Or, not Ghost. Fighting. Sorry, I messed that up. Should beat fighting. I spaced out there for a second. It should have always beaten fighting. It should beat fighting. Now then, as for Grass, this one's a bit weird because they're all just buffs they're getting, not necessarily type changes themselves. It's just changes I would make for each type to give them buffs. The Grass type in sunny conditions gets a buff to their attack and special attack stats. Only Grass types do. But basically their attack and special attack are increased by 1 stage by default. And you can maybe argue Fire types have like a 2-stage increase. You could probably give that to Fire types. It would make sense. Or just all their stats are increased in sunny conditions. And then, there you go. But also with Grass types, when they're wet or hit by like a water type move, they're in wet terrain, like you're literally battling in the middle of a lake, or it's raining, or again they've been hit by a water type move, or it could be they're dual typed with water, just by default. They have a 1-stage increase to both their defense and special defense. So it's kind of like, hey, here you go. But if you change the weather, that's gone. So I mean, but still, you get that. And then for ground's a little, Ground should how do I word this? So this one's a bit weird. I'm sorry for that cut. I had to pause for a moment. I had to think of the way to word this properly. So, changes for ground. It's going to sound weird. But, Bible. We're made from dirt originally. And our soul is knit into it. So, and ashes to ashes, dust to dust. And clearly, through history, spooky things mess with people, even though we're made from dirt. So, I would say ground can resist ghosts, or it should be able to. It should also resist fighting, because I'm outside. I'll just do this. I'll do this as a demonstration. Here's my little path. This is my dominant hand. That did nothing. That did nothing. You can be a trained fighter and hit like a freaking sledgehammer. That's gonna do nothing. It should resist fighting. Not be immune, but it should resist fighting. Okay? It should resist fighting. So, the resistance to ghost, resistance to fighting, and also in sandstorms or desert environments, even if there's not a sandstorm, ground types get a buff by one stage to their attack, special attack, defense, and special defense. I know it sounds like a lot, and it is, but that's gonna... Sandstorms and desert environments are gonna affect rock type, and sandstorms are gonna affect steel types in positive ways too.